Welcome to the online series for the classic mother sauces. I'm Chef Stanley Weaver, the culinary instructor here at East Mac High School. Today we're going to be looking at the classic mother sauce Hollandaise. So Hollandaise is very different from the other mother sauces because it does not start with a base stock. It actually uses its base as egg yolks. So when we're looking at our Hollandaise sauce, there are two parts to our Hollandaise sauce. Our actual sauce making, and then there's an acid reduction that we also make. Usually the acid reduction is a reduction of white wine, a little bit of vinegar, some spices and herbs. Today we're going to just be using the vinegar, our spices and herbs. We put them in a small pot, just let them reduce down for about 10 to 15 minutes to where you have about a tablespoon of liquid left over. So we have that already done for us. Now we're going to go into separating our eggs. So for our Hollandaise, we're only going to need the egg yolk for our Hollandaise. So we're going to separate our egg whites from our yolk. We put that into a clean stainless steel bowl for us to prepare our Hollandaise. Go through and make sure we get all of our yolk. Don't want to leave any behind. Alrighty. So your egg whites can be put to the side, and you can use them in an egg white omelet. You can use them in making a meringue or different desserts. So you don't have to throw them away. They can be used in other applications. To our egg yolks, we're going to add our reduction. So you want to make sure when you add your reduction, you don't get any of those herbs in there or any of those spices. You want just the acid. And we're going to quickly give our eggs a whisk. Alright, so to cook our Hollandaise, we're going to be using a double boiler. So in our pot, we have about 2 inches of water that we brought up to a boil. We're going to set our bowl on top, so that way we have a nice gentle heat when we're cooking our Hollandaise. Now when you start making your Hollandaise, you want to make sure that you're consistently whisking, because we don't want our eggs to start to burn or scorch at the bottom. So we want to consistently whisk our egg yolks. And this is also going to help our eggs gain volume. So we're incorporating air by using a whisk. Our eggs are going to start looking very frothy, and they're going to start to double in size. Okay. You want to make sure you're monitoring your heat. Make sure your heat's not too high. And now you can see our eggs are nice and frothy. So we're going to start drizzling in our butter. So you notice I've taken my Hollandaise off the heat. And the reason why I did that is because when you're making Hollandaise, you really want to make sure that you're controlling your heat. A lot of the times when Hollandaise does not work out for you, it's because you have a heat problem. Either your heat's too high, your heat's too low. You want to make sure that you really get your heat at a nice, gentle consistency, so that way your Hollandaise does not overcook on you. So I like to start adding my butter off the heat. I shut off my heat on my double boiler and just use that residual heat left to finish making my Hollandaise. So I'm going to add my butter in nice and slowly, incorporating the butter into my Hollandaise, making sure that I'm whisking. And in your recipe, you're going to see that there's a small amount of water that you're supposed to add to your eggs in the beginning. I did not add it in the beginning because a nice helpful hint that I like to have students do is take your water and add it halfway through doing your butter. What this does is it helps loosen up your Hollandaise, and it gives you a little bit more of a reassurance that your Hollandaise isn't going to break on you halfway through adding your butter in. So I just went ahead and added my water in. You can see how my Hollandaise is a lot looser. And I'm going to continue adding in my butter. making sure that I'm whisking. And again, my heat is off. I don't need any more of that direct heat. I'm just going to use that nice gentle heat that's left from the bowl. And just add in my butter until all of my butter has been incorporated. Make sure you're constantly scraping down the sides because you want to make sure that all of your egg yolks are being incorporated into your hollandaise, and continuously add in your butter until it has all been incorporated. And then for our last little installment of butter, and our hollandaise is good to go. So I'm going to remove my bowl from the heat. I am done with the cooking process. Now I'm just going to go in and check for seasoning. So I'm going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of white pepper, and just a little squeeze of lemon juice. So a very classic flavor in a hollandaise is acidity. So we get that from our acid reduction, and adding just a little bit of fresh lemon juice, just a small amount. We'll whisk that into our hollandaise. And we are all set. So hollandaise does not hold very, very well. So you have to use it immediately. So majority of the times in restaurants, what they'll do, very similar to what I showed you, adding in that water halfway through loosens up our hollandaise just a little bit, so that way as it's holding for dinner service or for brunch, it doesn't start to clump and get very thick because we've loosened it out a little bit. So it gives us a little reassurance that it's not going to break on us, it's not going to get too thick, and that it'll last a little bit through our breakfast service or lunch or dinner, so that way we can use it all throughout that time. So I'm just going to pour our hollandaise in a nice little bowl here. And with our mother sauces are made for additional ingredients to be added into them. Those kind of sauces are called derivatives. With a hollandaise, there are so many different things you can add to a hollandaise to make derivative sauces. You can add fresh tarragon to do a very classic hollandaise that's usually used over omelets or for eggs benedict. You can add different spices to make like a Creole hollandaise. So there's just so many things you can add to a hollandaise based on the dish you're going to be using it for. But again, classic hollandaise does not start with the base liquid. We start with egg yolks. Majority of our hollandaise is butter, so it's very, very rich. You do not need to use a lot of it. And you can add different things to your sauce to make derivatives to use in your dishes.